It's a pleasure to see you both and talk about this film. I mean, the first question is absolutely obvious about the love of cars, but is it necessary to take on that role to understand the passion that infused those men?
No, I don't think so. I think if we were limited to an audience that only loved cars, we'd be doing a disservice to the story. Because I think the story is really, I mean, I'm not really a car person, and I just love this story and this friendship between these two guys, and I found it incredibly relatable on a lot of levels.
Yeah, me too. For you, Christian?
Yeah, no, it's about friendship, it's about obsession, and it's about chasing a dream.
Does it require a particular type of skill to emulate how good they were at driving cars?
That's an interesting one. I think that what actually was a real godsend to us with the character of Ken Miles was that the cliche idea, which tends to be true of racing drivers, is that they're often very stoic, right? And they're unreadable. You cannot tell what is going on with them. But he was really colourful, and he expressed himself all the time, and he was a very unusual kind of a driver in that sense. And so that really helps with being able to understand and try to get people who have never raced a car to understand how alive these men feel upon doing it, and so why they would actually go risk their lives to do that. And that was a real kind of absolutely something essential to make this film work.
And about Carroll, is there as much information available about him, about his personality? Was he as...
There was a lot of information. He also lived to be a very old man, and he lived in right in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was able to talk to a lot of people who knew him, and he was quite a fixture there around town all the way to the end. So, so there was, plus there's documentaries, there's books. I mean, there's so much. And then he did a lot of interviews, even in his older age, reflecting on that time and talking about it. So he was able to, so there's existing footage of them while this is actually happening and documentaries and stuff. And then there's them, Carroll talking about it as an older man, reflecting back on that time in his life.
Was the challenge building that chemistry that they had, which was kind of, love sometimes, hate sometimes, etc. And how did you build the chemistry between you guys based on what you knew about the men?
Well, we talked about it just as kind of almost like brothers, I mean, the two guys clearly had a deep and abiding respect for one another, but they fought, because Ken was, known to be kind of his own worst enemy at times. He was just so kind of decidedly undiplomatic that he kind of cost himself a number of jobs because he just wouldn't toe the party line sometimes. He knew the right way to do it, and he was right, and, and so he ruffled feathers that way, but Shelby knew that he was absolutely brilliant and an artist behind the wheel and that he needed him. And so there was that tension, in their relationship of Shelby going, just please shut up and I'll handle it. Like, and so they fight like brothers, yeah.